eventually he finds what he is looking for, and he sees the soul of the world. And when you look at people, when you're an alchemist, I think another thing about that is when you look at people, you can see their truth, you can see their soul, which is something that, and I think another point of the book is, everyday people, regular people can't do that, right?
Right.
But it would be nice to know the truth of the world. It would be nice to know the purpose for our existence. And it's a very deep book. Really recommend this book to our listeners. It's a fantastic book, and it's not that difficult to read.
Okay, sounds good. All right, so we're looking at an excerpt here from The Alchemist by Paulo Coelho. This is right when Santiago, that's the name of the book, the boy.
That's right.
The protagonist. Going on a journey towards Egypt.
Right.
All right, so let's go ahead and listen to the excerpt for The Alchemist.
The boy's name was Santiago. Dusk was falling as the boy arrived with his herd. A sycamore had grown on the spot where the sacristy had once stood. He decided to spend the night there. He saw to it that all the sheep entered through the ruined gate, and then laid some away during the night. There were no wolves in the region, but once an animal had strayed during the night, the boy had to spend the entire next day searching for it. He was reading as a pillow. He told himself that he would have to start reading thicker books. They lasted longer and made more comfortable pillows. It was still dark when he awoke, and looking up, he could see the stars through the half-destroyed roof. I wanted to sleep a little longer, he thought. He had had the same dream that night as a week ago, and once again he had awakened before it ended. He arose, and taking up his crook, began to awaken the sheep that still slept. He had noticed that, as soon as he awoke, most of his animals also began to stir. It was as if some mysterious energy bound the past 2 years, leading them through the countryside in search of food and water. They are so used to me that they know my schedule, he muttered. Thinking about that for a moment, he realized that it could be the other way around, that it was he who had become accustomed to their schedule.
All right, so Santiago begins his search. Let's go. So all of the sacred vessels and things like that, it would store in this one room. So it used to be there, and now a big tree had grown there.
That's right. And sheep herder, that's right.
He decided to spend the night there. He saw to it that all the sheep entered through the ruined gate, and then laid some planks across it to prevent the flock from wandering away during the night. So a plank is a board, long, flat piece of wood. Right? And you'll see in the movies where they actually put a board, right, on the side of the boat, and the people would have to, the prisoner would have to.
Which I wonder why they made them do that.
I know, why did they just throw him in?
Push him in the water anyway.
Maybe for dramatic.
I'm sure if you watch Captain Hook or if you watch Pirates of the Caribbean with Johnny Depp, I'm sure you can.
That's what a plank is. To kind of walk around, but not really with some place in mind. Just go here to there to here to there. So sheep can wander.
Your mind can wander
Sure
as well,
can.
right? So when you're daydreaming and you're not paying attention, then your mind is wandering. And I say, hey, his mind was wandering.
There were no wolves in the region, but once an animal had strayed during the night, and the boy. If the sheep wandered away, it would stray. Stray, the noun form means an animal that has lost its home. So
That's
we
right.
see. What about your? Okay, let me hear your sheep sound then. Very good.
That's a laughing sheep.
Wow, it's almost like we're.
For the benefit of our listeners.
A wolf with a cold and a sheep with
A laughing sheep.
a laughing sheep, yeah. Swept the floor with his jacket and lay down, using the book he had just finished reading as a pillow. He told himself that he would have to start reading thicker books. They lasted longer and made more comfortable pillows. That's kind of funny. So
That's right. I'll take it from here, but I would like to just make the point. Writes very simple sentences, but began to awaken the sheep that still slept. So a crook is a shepherd's kind of tool. It's a big long stick, and they use it to kind of herd the sheep. A crook, to beat off the crook. Crook can also have a different meaning of a thief, somebody who steals something. He arose and, grabbing his stick, taking up his crook, began to awaken the sheep that still slept. He had noticed that as soon as he awoke, most of the animals also began to stir. So to stir, well, think about it. If you have a spoon, right, and you want to put some sugar, coffee, there's a movement there, right? So think about the sheep kind of moving in a circular kind of way.
they're not making a drink.
No, they're not having a coffee.
No. Okay.
Sheep don't drink coffee, as far as I know. Spicy food in Korea, or had you already become accustomed to it, gotten used to it in America?
I had already become accustomed to it in America because, of course, my mother is Korean and she cooks spicy Korean food.
I
So
remember.
I'd already become accustomed to it.
When I came to Korea, I had to become accustomed to using chopsticks because I had never used them before, and it took about 4 months to become accustomed to it.
Yeah, when I first started this show as well, I would say something funny and Steve would look at me with a blank stare.
That's because it wasn't that funny.
I would ask him a question and he would look at me with a blank stare.
Because I didn't understand the question.
So it took a little while for us to get accustomed to each other.
I would disagree with that. I think that's just an example.
Okay, so we're not accustomed to each other yet.
That's what I'm saying.
Anyway, that's it for The Alchemist. It's a very good book, as Steve suggests, and so why don't you pick up a copy and try to get through it yourself? That would be great. So let's go ahead then and listen again to the excerpt from The Alchemist.
The boy's name was Santiago. Dusk was falling as the boy arrived with his herd at an abandoned church. The roof had fallen in long ago, and an enormous sycamore. He arose, and taking up his crook, began to awaken the sheep that still slept. He had no
Practice makes perfect, yes. And our expression for today is accustomed.
한습관. One custom.
One custom? No, that's not what it means.
After you move to a different city or a
Yes.
different country.
When I came to
That's right.
Yes.
That's-
Alright, so let's start off here with accustomed. A. 미국에서 사는데 익숙해지려면 시간이 걸릴 것이다.
in America. Okay, and I'll try B. 익숙하지 않다면 하기가 어려울 것이다.
It's kind of hard to do unless you're accustomed to it. And then finally C. 나는 침대 오른쪽에서 잠자는데 익숙하다.
I'm accustomed to sleeping on the right side of the bed. Which makes me think, what side of the bed do I sleep on?
I'm on the right side.
Me too. I guess we
Get
can
out of there.
sleep.
약 400m 앞 시속 30km.
You know what, Sid? You may think I'm a crackpot. Somebody else may think I'm a crackpot. But then there are people who think I'm genuinely kind, I'm genuinely funny, and a very nice person.
Wow.
So it all depends on your, right?
How much you paid them?
It all depends on how much I paid. Oh, okay, it depends on your point of view. It depends on how you think. It depends on.
약 300m 앞 우회전하세요.
There's 3 syllables in this one word.
That's not much of a clue.
No, it's not, but it's my clue for the
All
day.
right.
Okay, guys, if you know the answer to my quiz, put it up on the quiz board along with your personal information. You might win a Pearson Longman Active Study English Dictionary provided by Pearson Longman Korea, and from Oxford University Press, we'll be giving away business 1-to-1 textbooks.
네, 지으면서 배우는 영어 회화 학원 월스트리트 인스튜트에서 최신 전.
잠시 후 우회전하세요. 이어서 좌회전하세요.
And remember with Sid and Steve.
Sid Miwa. 내일 봐요.
다른 도로로 진입하지 않도록 주의하세요.
Wednesday, global issues. Hi guys, welcome back to another brand new edition of Power English. Thank you once again for joining us. My name's Steve-O.
Hello, hello, hello.